Hello and welcome to another episode of the Farr Show where I'm Damon Farr. Tonight we're talking about the Bikeriders. I said we'd talk about it last week even though I filmed that way in advance. I don't even remember how long ago that was now. There's a hair right here. That's awkward. Also the mic looks to be sagging a bit. I don't know what happened there, but we're gonna fix that quick. So, we're talking the Bikeriders, and this is probably gonna really ruin the audio now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, what am I doing? Let's just continue on. Screw it. We're talking about the Bikeriders, where this movie was alright. I'd say it's an FA, maybe an FAR. I'm on the fence on which one it is. Some basic info, though. It's written and directed by Jeff Nichols, based on the Bikeriders by Danny Lenon? L-Y-O-N? Lynon? Sure, Lynon. So, it's based on a book where he became, I wouldn't say became part of this motorcycle gang, this motorcycle group, but he interviewed a bunch of their members and, you know, became an honorary member, I would push to say. That's what it seems kind of like in the thing to an extent. But then again, the first, like, most of the movie, he's with just the wife, Kathy, so it's kind of weird. Let's start talking about this cast, though, because this is an important cast. We're only going to talk about the cast, honestly. We're only going to talk about the main three. Jodie Comer is Kathy. I don't know if that's really a Midwestern accent that's coming from a Midwestern guy. I don't know if she was supposed to be based off of someone from somewhere else, but she didn't really have that much of a Midwestern accent. Not that I really care. I think she acted pretty well. Austin Butler as Benny. Austin Butler steals the show. I mean, every movie he's in. Elvis, he was in Dune Part 2, he stole the show. This, he steals the show. Actually, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm curious, that movie that he's in, or the show that he's in, where it's he's in, what's it called? He's in that show, what is it called? Masters of the Air. I did not see that, but I've heard he was good in that. I mean, technically this movie came out last year, and Dune Part 2 came out this year, but he's definitely doing great. I hope he's in more stuff. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. I hope he's in more stuff. And Tom Hardy, as always, is great. He does not steal the show for once. Austin Butler, I think, acted his ass off. I love how stoic he looked, and he had the smolder, as most people would call it. But at the same time, he somehow has some sort of vulnerability that he doesn't really express too much. But when he does, that final scene, spoiler, we're going to go into the plot, where pretty much it's set in the 1960s, follows the rise of the Vandals MC, so motorcycle club. But that final scene, so pretty much the plot of this movie is, it's a Tom Hardy who, you know, is like, hey, I think I need to stop being the leader. I'm getting too old, kind of a thing. And he's trying to hand the reins over to Austin Butler, Benny here. Well, Benny doesn't want it. Benny's like, I'm no leader. I can't do this. Well, then there's one moment that Benny's like, all right, I can't be in this club anymore. And he just drives off pretty much. And then Tom Hardy's character, spoiler, is killed when somebody challenges him to become leader instead of him just, you know, giving the leadership over to Benny. He's shot and killed, and, well, Austin Butler hears about it. He goes back to his wife, who he hasn't seen in, it sounded like years, honestly. He goes back to her, and he just cries. And, you know, it's an important overlap, because there's one scene where she says, I've only seen my dad cry twice, and that was, I think if I remember correctly, she said, when my mother almost died and when my mother did die. And this is one of those moments, and I'm gonna be real, it honestly seemed like Johnny was kind of like a father figure to Benny. Though he may not have always seen eye to eye, and that, you know, just like any father-son relationship, they're not always gonna be perfect together, they're not gonna, you know, always mesh, but it was really good. I think the acting from Austin Butler, once again, shows that he's one of the better actors working. I mean, Elvis, this, and Dune Part 2, that's a pretty good I mean, they're a wide variety. I mean, Elvis is obviously Elvis. Dune, he plays completely different, trying to avoid typecast. And this one, he's kind of like Elvis. I mean, he's got the same voice and everything. Not saying anything bad against that. I understand that he, you know, was Elvis for like 3 years because of COVID, and now that's partially his voice. But, you know, there's worse voices to get stuck with, if I'm being honest. But that's okay. I think this movie's an FAR. I think it's definitely worth watching. What did you think of the Bikeriders? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and have a far off night.